sorry, I don't mean to wake you up. I know this is a weird circumstance. I just snuck into your bedroom and you might be a little bit, curious about that, like why I'm here. Well, first of all, do you remember me? You don't remember me from this morning? Airport. I'm the TSA agent that gave you a pat down when you were returning from Paris. Right. Yeah. First of all, I'm kind of a little hurt that you wouldn't remember me because I thought we shared a few, really memorable moments. And I guess that I'm not in my uniform, so I understand that you wouldn't recognize me right away, but I'm here and I just kind of wanted to do a little follow-up. I know it's about 1 a.m. and you weren't expecting me here, but I just wanted to be honest and say that I don't think I did a thorough enough job of giving you a pat down. Yeah, I don't think that, I did a good inspection, I think, but then I thought about, the contract I signed when I started this job, and it was to leave no stone unturned, leave no bag unopened, open every bag, every crevice, even if there's, something small that you think might not be suspicious, you should still thoroughly inspect it. I don't think I ran enough tests. I don't think I opened enough things, and I don't think I confiscated the things that were meant to be confiscated. And I just, I've been mulling over that in my head all day. And I think that if I'm, a TSA agent that's worth her salt, I need to finish what I started this morning. Okay, so you can just keep on sleeping. I'm just going to go through some things of yours, if that's okay. Okay. All right. Ma'am, you've been selected for a TSA pat down at night in your bedroom. And it's not really even a pat down. I'm just going to go through some of your purse items. But, if I do see any weird objects floating around your bed, I might have to pat you down as well. I might have to pat down your whole bed. I might have to pat down your entire bedroom. I might have to pat down your entire family. I might have to pat down your whole bloodline, ma'am. But first, let's start with some of those things that I forgot to check out, okay? Okay. Now you don't need to worry. Okay. I'm sure that everything's fine and that you're a completely legitimate person, but let's just go ahead and make sure that way I can sleep at night. So I see that you have this bag. And you haven't unpacked it yet. That's a little suspicious. Most people unpack their bags right away when they get home. Which leads me to believe, what do you have to hide? What are you hiding in these bags? Vitamin D supplements. Is that what's really in here? We'll see. Smells like vitamin D to me. But I'm going to have to run it through some tests, okay? So I'm going to take this pill. And I'm just going to run it through a few tests, okay, ma'am? Okay. All right, that's very good. So I'm just going to put that aside. Okay. All right, and you have a scissors, ma'am. I cannot believe let you go through the airport with the scissors. This, ma'am, is a weapon. We're going to have a talk about this later. I know that you're trying to sleep right now, but while you lay your head down, I think you better be thinking of some excuses and some questions that you have to answer about this scissors. What do you use it for? Oh, you use it for cutting the labels off of clothing items when you go shopping. Why would you carry this around with you? I think that's very strange. I think because there are scissors in Paris, ma'am. I don't know if you know of that, but scissors do exist in Paris. I have seen them. I read about them. They look very similar to the ones in the United States. So I don't know why you would have to carry your own scissors with you to a different country. I think that's highly suspicious. And it makes me wonder, what were you really planning with those scissors? We'll see. A marker. This it looks like a legitimate marker, but just to make sure that this is, in fact, marker ink and not anything suspicious, I'm going to have to go ahead and do a test here on a piece of tissue, okay? So just wait and relax. I'm sure that this is nothing to be worried about, but we have to make sure that when I write on this tissue paper, it's actually red. Looks like you lucked out there. Seems like a legitimate marker to me. Okay. What is this, ma'am? Is this a plant? Is that all it is? If you're hiding any kind of clandestine cargo, if you're hiding any kind of illegal cargo or salacious cargo in here, in this plant, you're going to have a lot of questions to answer. Okay? Because I do have, as part of my job, I have the FBI on my speed dial, so I can call them up and say, come to 444 Cherry Candy Lane and the residence number 2, and be quick and bring all your dogs and drug testing materials, and bring your handcuffs, and bring all the things that you have to make sure this woman is locked behind bars, never to travel again. You don't want to be in a do not fly list, do you? I didn't think so. This plant isn't real. You are harboring a fake plant in your purse satchel? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's a characteristic of someone who likes to trick people and lie. Well, at least it doesn't have any foul odors. Okay, and just like I thought, these rocks aren't even real, because they don't fall out when I put this upside down. So this is very strange, highly suspicious. I'm glad I followed my instincts and came to check you out, because we have a few things between the scissors and the plants. What were you going to do? Are you going to cut the fake plants? Because that would be considered a violent act and a sacrilege against our botany of this earth. You don't want to sacrilege the botany of the planet. No, you don't. So if you ever cut that plant, if you ever cut any plant, you're going to have some big problems in your life. A lighter? Man, you said you bought it after? You bought it after you left the airport? Okay, well, I would believe that. Except, why is the fluid almost gone? Did you smoke 12,000 cigarettes today? How many cigarettes did you smoke? Good, because that would take a lot of cigarettes. Oh, you're saying you use this for incense? How many incense sticks did you light? Because I don't smell any lingering incense in the air. You like candles? So do I, but I don't go through an entire lighter within the course of 10 hours. So I want you to be truthful with me, ma'am. What is this for? We're going to have to confiscate this. I don't want you complaining. And here we have a pen. Oh wow, look. It's another vessel in which sneaky people can hide things, various fluids and excretions. I'm going to take I'm going to give this pen a full pat down. You watch. All right, pen. I'm going to go up the groin. I'm going to go up the groin. I'm going to go up your groin. Okay. Now, pen, could you spread your limbs for me here? Spread your arms. Spread. Very good. I'm just going to check in here. I'm going to go underneath your armpits, pen. Okay, pen. Very good. All right. Okay, pen, what brings you here? Silent pen. Very suspicious. Pen, if you're so innocent, why won't you talk to me and answer my questions? If you have nothing to hide, I'm going to have to confiscate you. Can't believe I missed all these things this morning. I need to start doing better at my job. Okay. All right. Well, for now, I think that satchel has been thoroughly checked. However, I will fake leather. I will run this through some further tests, so I'm going to have to confiscate this entire bag, ma'am. Okay, so I need you to just start being honest with me, and I need you to start being upfront, because this is going to take a lot of my time, and I'd rather have someone who's honest, that I don't have to follow them home and go in their bedroom and look through their things. Okay, you did this. You put yourself in this position by looking so suspicious and having all these strange things with you. Let's see about this purse. Let's see if this purse is actually a purse, because it might not be, knowing you. Sage. Ma'am, do you practice spells? Do you use this sage for spells, ma'am? Because if you do, That's interesting. And I would like to know more about that. But let's make sure this is actual sage. It is actual sage. It smells really good. Ma'am, if you practice spells with this sage, that's totally fine. You can keep the sage. There's no suspicion there. In fact, I'd like to know a little bit more about what kind of spells you do, and if you have well, I've been thinking about wanting to join a coven. So if you have a coven and you're looking for a new member, I'm right here, and you better let me into your coven. I mean it. So sick of not being in covens. So tired of it. Okay, so next we have tissues. Looks normal from the outside. Let's see if these are really tissues and if there's anything in between the lines that I need to read into. Okay, it's a tissue. Okay, that's a tissue. That's another tissue. That's another tissue. Another tissue. You only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tissues in here. And the box says that there are 15. 15 minus 6. Fifteen minus 6 is 9. So that means that you have used 9 tissues today. Ma'am, that's a highly unusual amount of tissues to use in one day. I just want to let you know that we're going to have to administer a COVID test because you said that you weren't experiencing any symptoms. But if you go through a whole day using 9 tissues, that gives me hardcore evidence to the contrary that you might in fact not be experiencing symptoms, and you might in fact have a cold or a flu or a flu-like symptom. I know that you're trying to sleep, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a COVID test here. This is an advanced machine, and it beeps and it tells me right away whether you have COVID or not. And this machine is foolproof. It has 100% accuracy. So you're not gonna fool me. You can fool anyone else, but not the TSA agent that you came across this morning. It's gonna take about 12 seconds. So deep breaths for me. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You don't have COVID, so at least you weren't lying about that. But I would suggest that you get your nose checked for a deviated septum because most people don't have all of those tissues that they use in a day, okay? Okay. All right. Well, I feel a little bit better about you now that I know that you didn't lie to me about your symptoms. You just have a runny nose. Post-nasal drip is something that my grandmother had, and it's not fun, so there are now surgeries where you can get that checked out. You can get that healed. So I would suggest you do that, but not now. You just stay in bed right now because I'm not finished with my check. What is this? Skincare hydrating eye patches. Eye patches? Are you a pirate, ma'am? Is that what this is? Because the last time that I checked, only pirates carry eye patches with them 24/7. So this is extremely alarming to me. This is probably the most alarming thing that I've ever come across in my career, because that means that all of the things that I just checked, between the plants, scissors, the marker, all these things might be stolen property because pirates steal, ma'am. So, I don't know why else you would have hydrating patches for your eyes. Oh, it's for skincare? Okay, well, I've never heard of that, so I think that you might be lying. Okay, they're called eye patches for a reason, because pirates wear them. So, this is a lot. This is a lot for me to take in right now. I've never come across a pirate at the airport. And now that I think about it, it makes total sense. Because how would I know that I came across a pirate? Because I never have before. So, my very first pirate, of course I wouldn't catch. But I've caught you now. Because I'm a relentless TSA agent. I don't give up easily. So, you're on thin ice with your pirate patches. One more suspicious item, and I'm speed dialing the FBI. And they're coming. They'll be coming right around the mountain for you. Okay. Change. I'm going to go ahead and count this money, ma'am. Make sure that it's within the limit of money that you're allowed to take with you from another country, because there is a limit. You can't just go across the border with tons and tons of money. 25, 50, 75, $1, $1.25. Whoa. You're getting there. You're on thin ice. $1.25, $1.35, $1.45, $1.55, $1.60, $1.70, $1.80, $1.81, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $1.87. You just missed the $2 mark. If it was $2, I would have called the FBI, because you're not allowed to have all that change with you, But I'm going to have to confiscate that money. Run it through some tests, and I wouldn't expect it back anytime soon. I'll mail it to you when I'm ready. And I don't think I'm going to be ready for a while. It's your wallet, ma'am. I'm going to have to double check your identity and all that, all these cards, okay? Okay, I see that you don't have anything suspicious here. Okay, so you have your library card and your vaccination card, and what is this? An Ulta gift card. Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna have to confiscate this, and I'm gonna have to take it to Ulta and make some purchases to make sure that this is legit. And don't expect any kind of reimbursement, ma'am. Ma'am, you did this to yourself with all these suspicious behaviors. I do like the decor in here, by the way. Your wallpaper is very nice. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be lenient on you. Floss. I see that you have waxed floss. Ma'am, I don't know about this floss. Are you sure you just use it for dental purposes, or because where I'm from in my field of work, we use string like this to make connections between photos on a bulletin board whenever we're trying to solve a case. Okay? So if that's what you do, if you in fact use this for FBI reasons, if you have a bulletin board, I'm going to have to check downstairs and all around your house. If you have a bulletin board and you use this floss to make connections between little photos, That would make you an unauthorized detective and a pirate. So, detective pirates are very rare, but they do exist, and they are not anything to joke about. So if that's what you chose to do with your life, if that's your line of work, there's going to be some huge consequences. Okay, so there better not be a bulletin board downstairs or any kind of crime work with floss on it. Okay? I mean it. You have lip gloss. I'm going to have to test this. It's good lip gloss. Wow. I'm gonna have to get this myself. It has hyaluronic acid. Okay, wait, acid? It has acid? You came across the border with acid. That's a chemical weapon. That's it. Search over. I'm gonna call the FBI right now. You are an unauthorized pirate detective who carried acid across the border, and you think you could just go home and have a good night's sleep? Well, you're not. This is tea. We'll see about that. Looks like just another dangerous weapon. Some more change in here. 25, 50, 60. You went over your mark. And you're carrying weapons, and you're obviously a very questionable person with very questionable life choices and career choices, and I'm not going to stand for it because I'm a really good TSA agent. Okay? So, the FBI, they're on their way right now, and they're going to come and they're going to ask you some questions, and you'll be lucky if you're not arrested on the spot and taken to jail and put on the do not fly list. And when you're in the FBI jail for being a pirate, they feed you bran flakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the water that you get to drink, it's not carbonated, it's not LaCroix, it's just plain old tap water, because that's what you delinquents deserve. Okay? So, why don't you go ahead and get a little bit more shut-eye before the FBI comes, because you're going to need that energy, because you have a lot to say for yourself, I'm sure. So, have a good night. I'm really glad I came, and we're just going to have to take this one step at a time and get to the bottom of all this.